The Galactic Consortium, a powerful alliance of alien civilizations, had long observed the planet Earth from afar. They had studied the primitive species that called it Homo humans. They had tracked their rise from stone tools to spacefaring ships, but there was something about humanity that perplexed the consortium, something that didn't quite add up. Despite their rapid technological advancement, humans seemed to struggle with some basic concepts that other species, including many in the consortium, had mastered long ago: advanced problem-solving, strategic thinking, and even empathy. Things that should have been easy for a species on the rise seemed patchy, incomplete. One day, after centuries of observation, the Galactic Consortium decided to intervene. They sent a delegation of their most highly intelligent species barracks, advanced telepaths from Terminus 9, and Arumos, masters of neural augmentation from the cloud world of Sylphi-7 to directly study the human mind. They were determined to uncover the source of this strange limitation. The first shock came when they connected to the neural patterns of a human. They expected the usual complicated neurological activity, buzzing with the complexity of higher thought, but what they saw was startling. Humans only used a fraction of their brain capacity. Specifically, they seemed to only tap into about 10%. Impossible, Barrick thought, transmitting the thought to the group. This can't be right. How can a species so advanced still only tap into so little of their brain power? Their intelligence should be far beyond what we've observed. The Arumos were equally baffled. If their neural pathways are capable of more, why aren't they utilizing it? Could it be a latent evolutionary trait, or something more? We need to delve deeper. To understand this phenomenon, the delegation decided to conduct an experiment. They would awaken the full potential of the human mind. The procedure was simple. Using advanced neural synchronization technology, the aliens began to stimulate the dormant portions of the human brain. Slowly but surely, the hidden 90% of the human brain became active. At first, the changes were subtle. The humans started displaying sharper reflexes, quicker problem-solving abilities, and an uncanny grasp of abstract concepts. But as the stimulation deepened, the effects were staggering. Humans began experiencing powerful telepathic abilities. They could read each other's thoughts, communicate instantly, and even manipulate objects with their minds. Complex problems, mathematical and philosophical, were solved effortlessly. Some humans even began to manipulate space and time itself, bending light and gravity with sheer willpower. The aliens were stunned. What had they just unleashed? They had no idea that such potential lay dormant within the human race, but as they observed, something else began to happen, something that had not been part of their calculations. The humans didn't just gain new powers, they adapted and quickly. Their minds, once seemingly bound by primitive limitations, had evolved in real time. Within hours, entire cities of humans were learning how to control their new abilities. Their understanding of the universe expanded exponentially. These beings, Barrick thought, they aren't just learning, they're evolving at an impossible rate. The more they unlock, the more they become us. A sense of awe and fear began to settle within the Galactica Consortium delegation. The humans were no longer the primitive species they had once considered them to be. They were an uncharted force, something that even the most advanced alien minds had not fully understood. But there was one final, terrifying realization. The humans, now tapping into the vast untapped resources of their minds, turned their gaze upward. They looked into the stars and began to understand the power they held. They saw the aliens who had come to help them. They saw the consortium, and for the first time, they saw themselves as more than just another species in the galaxy. They were a force of nature. One by one, the members of the consortium began to understand that humanity was no longer content with being observed or manipulated. They were ready to take their place in the galaxy, not as students, but as masters. The humans had unlocked their true potential, and with it, their destiny. They weren't going to just survive in the universe, they were going to dominate it. The Galactica Consortium had underestimated humanity, and now they feared what they had just unleashed. In the end, it wasn't the aliens who discovered the secret of the human brain, it was the humans who discovered the truth about themselves, and the universe would never be the same again. The Galactica Consortium was in a state of turmoil. After the sudden revelation of humanity's latent power, for centuries, they had ruled the galaxy, guiding species through their evolutionary stages, assisting in their technological progress, and sometimes controlling the fate of the less developed civilizations. But humanity had shattered their carefully constructed narrative. With the unlocking of their brain's full potential, the humans had become far more than just a rising species. They had evolved into an unstoppable force, and they were beginning to set their sights on the stars. The consortium's most powerful members gathered in an emergency council to discuss the escalating situation. "Can we reverse it?" asked Sorvak, the leader of the Lothian Guild, one of the most influential entities in the consortium. His voice was sharp, edged with fear. "Is there any way to restrain them, to prevent them from surpassing us?" Beric, the telepath from Zantorminus 9, shook his head. "It's too late. The humans are already surpassing us. Their minds, they process information at an unprecedented speed. They learn at a rate that outpaces even our best scholars. Their adaptation to new abilities is terrifying," added Arumel, the neural augmentation expert. "We gave them access to 90% of their brain power, and they have already begun to master it. We can't keep up." As the council discussed, they received a transmission from Earth, a message from the newly formed United Nations of Earth, which have rapidly united all of humanity under a single banner, in light of their newfound abilities. The transmission was broadcast to the consortium in every known language, transmitted through telepathic waves that bypassed the usual channels of communication. The voice was calm, almost soothing, but it carried an unmistakable weight. "Galactic Consortium, you have been observing us for far too long. You have underestimated us for centuries. You thought us weak, primitive, and limited, but you were wrong. We are humanity, and we now understand that we're meant for more. We have unlocked the full potential of our minds, and we are taking our place in the galaxy. Do not mistake this for aggression. It is simply our destiny." The transmission ended. Silence fell upon the council chamber. "Destiny," Sorvak hissed. "What do they mean?" We were supposed to guide them, to control their rise." Beric closed his eyes, deep in thought. "It's not about control anymore. They're no longer the students. The humans are evolving so quickly that they've outgrown the need for guidance. They are becoming the new apex species of the galaxy." The delegation knew that humanity wasn't just an emerging power anymore. They were becoming the new rulers of the stars. They had the intellectual capability, the power of telekinesis, the ability to manipulate the fabric of space-time, and even more abilities that the consortium had yet to fully comprehend. Humanity was an unknown factor, something so unpredictable that even the most advanced species in the galaxy were at a loss. Meanwhile, on Earth, the new Human Galactic Council convened, made up of the brightest minds and leaders from every corner of the planet. It didn't take long for them to realize that they could no longer be passive. They were no longer just a race to be managed. With their new abilities, they had a choice: stay confined to their planet or reach out to the stars. The first move came swiftly. A fleet of human-designed ships, powered by their newly unlocked mental energy, was launched into the galaxy. These ships weren't just conventional spacefaring vessels. They were living ships, imbued with the mental energy of the humans who piloted them. These ships could travel through the fabric of space itself, instantly traversing vast distances, thanks to their mental manipulation of quantum fields. The consortium had no idea what was coming. Their fleets, which had once been feared across the stars, now seemed like relics of a bygone era. Humanity's ships didn't need to follow the laws of physics. They could fold space, bypassing light years in the blink of an eye, and they arrived at the heart of the consortium's domain without warning. The first world they visited was an unremarkable planet, a peaceful world governed by an ancient race of beings who had once been part of the consortium's council. They had been neutral, content to live in their own peace. The human fleet arrived above their planet, and a voice echoed across their atmosphere, a human voice. "We come in peace," the voice said, "but understand this, we are no longer content with being governed. We seek knowledge, we seek unity, but we will not bow. Humanity stands as equals among the stars, and we ask that you join us in this new era." The leaders of the peaceful world trembled. Their long-standing alliances with the consortium were at risk. The consortium had once been the galaxy's undisputed authority, but now it was clear humanity was here to rewrite the rules. By the time the consortium realized the full scope of humanity's rise, it was too late. Earth had established peaceful but firm alliances with down-scenes of planets. With each new world they encountered, humans revealed new abilities, new technologies, and new philosophies that were rapidly shifting the balance of power across the galaxy. The consortium tried to act. They sent envoys, emissaries, even covert agents to infiltrate human societies, but every attempt was thwarted. The human mind, now functioning at its full potential, was capable of detecting deception, reading thoughts, and even predicting future actions. No one could deceive them, no one could control them. Humanity had become the galaxy's new force, unstoppable, unbeatable, and completely independent. In the end, it wasn't the aliens who taught humanity the way of the stars, it was humanity itself. And as their fleets expanded, and their influence spread across the galaxy, the words of the first human transmission echoed across the cosmos. We are humanity, we are the future, and we will no longer be silent. The end. The galaxy trembled in uncertainty as humanity, now a cosmic force in its own right, expanded its reach. Earth had become the new center of power, a beacon of knowledge and potential that others could not ignore. But not all civilizations were eager to welcome the rise of humanity. The Galactic Consortium, once a council of the most advanced species, had splintered. A faction of its most militant races, calling themselves the Zeroth Order, refused to accept the idea of humanity as a power equal to theirs. They believed that Earth's sudden ascension could not be natural, and the fear of humanity's rapid growth was not something they could afford to ignore. The Zeroth Order saw the new human species as a threat to their ancient dominance. They believed that they had to control humanity, even if that meant wiping them out. They began to mobilize a massive armageddon that would dwarf anything humanity had encountered thus far. But humanity was no longer defenseless. The newly formed United Nations of Earth, now led by the brightest minds from every continent, had quickly understood the delicate balance between peace and war. They were diplomatic, but they were not afraid to act. The full potential of the human mind was still evolving, and Earth's new leaders had begun to tap into deeper layers of consciousness, exploring powers beyond anything the Zeroth Order could have imagined. On the front lines of humanity's war for the stars was Commander Aria Hayes, a brilliant tactician and one of the first humans to fully unlock their brain's capabilities. She had once been an ordinary military officer, but after the unlocking, her mind had transcended her past self. She was now a telepath, capable of reading minds and coordinating entire fleets with nothing but thought. In preparation for the coming battle, she had begun forging alliances with species all over the galaxy. Through telepathic communication, she had spoken to races that had been indifferent to humanity's rise until they realized that their future now depended on the success of Earth's mission. The Zeroth Order, however, would not be swayed. The first battle came when the Zeroth Order's fleet arrived at the outskirts of Earth's new empire. A massive armada, composed of hundreds of ships of varying sizes, hovered in the void between galaxies, ready to strike. The message from their leader, High Admiral Voltrax, was clear. Humanity's time has come to an end. Surrender or face total destruction. But humanity had no intention of surrendering. The telepathic network they had created allowed every human in the galaxy to share thoughts and experiences in real time, creating an overwhelming bond of unity and strength. Commander Hayes had long known that the war would not be fought in space alone, it would be fought within the very minds of the warriors. As the Zeroth Order's fleet advanced, Ori sent a single thought across the entire human fleet: we fight as one. The ships, piloted by humans now capable of manipulating the very fabric of space-time with their minds, rippled as they accelerated toward the enemy. The human fleet didn't need to travel at light speed or rely on conventional engines. Instead, they folded space itself, appearing at the heart of the Zeroth Order's formation in an instant. The first strike came not from weapons, but from a psychic wave, a pulse so powerful that it rocked the entire fleet. Commander Hayes led the charge, her mind weaving through the collective consciousness of every human ship, amplifying their telepathic strength. The Zeroth Order's ships trembled under the psychic assault. But the Zeroth Order was not without its own power. Their ships, infused with ancient technology, fought back, releasing bursts of energy designed to disrupt the human fleet's neural network. Yet, the human minds were growing stronger with every passing moment. They were more than just soldiers, they were a hive, a collective consciousness, able to outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast their enemies. In the midst of the battle, Arya encountered something strange, a presence deep in the minds of the Zeroth Order's commanders. It was not an ordinary mind, but one of immense power, a being whose thoughts seemed to ripple across space itself. It was High Admiral Voltrax, who, through ancient rituals, had unlocked a fraction of his own brain's potential. Humanity, Voltrax's voice boomed in Arya's mind. You do not understand the true power of the mind. We have mastered the mental arts for millennia. You are playing with forces you do not comprehend. Arya's response was calm, yet resolute. Perhaps, but we have something you do not. We have unity, and that is more powerful than any ancient knowledge. In a stunning move, Arya reached deep into the fabric of Voltrax's mind. Bypassing his mental defenses, she found the one weakness. The Zeroth Order had ignored their reliance on their ancient traditions, their hubris. With a single thought, she fractured his connection to his fleet. The Zeroth Order commanders, once unified under their leader, now turned on each other, confused and paralyzed. Within moments, the battle shifted. The human fleet moved in, overwhelming the disoriented ships with coordinated strikes. Their telekinetic powers disabled the Zeroth Order's advanced weaponry, and their telepathic link allowed them to anticipate every move the enemy made. The victory was swift. The remaining ships of the Zeroth Order retreated, and humanity stood victorious once again. But Arya knew this battle was just one of many. The Zeroth Order would not simply fade into the shadows. The galaxy, for all its vastness, had been irrevocably changed. Humanity was no longer a passive species, waiting to be molded. They were the new architects of the galaxy. As the victorious fleet returned to Earth's capital, Commander Hayes looked out at the stars. Humanity had unlocked their potential, and now they had to decide what to do with it. Would they use the newfound power to create a peaceful universe, or would they carve out an empire of their own? One thing was certain, the era of humanity as the galaxy's underdogs had ended, and now, the universe would learn to fear, respect, and maybe even admire the humans, who had once been nothing more than a curious species, unaware of their limitless potential. To be continued. The victory against the Zeroth Order was a defining moment for humanity. With one crushing blow, Earth had cemented its place in the galactic hierarchy, but victory came with its own set of challenges. The war had shown the galaxy what humanity was capable of, but it had also revealed the deep fractures in the Galactic Consortium. The War Council on Earth's capital was abuzz with activity. Commander Arya Hayes stood at the center of a vast room, her mind buzzing with the collective thoughts of the Council. Her telepathic abilities had reached new heights, allowing her to communicate seamlessly with every leader of the United Nations of Earth, no matter where they were. It was more than just coordination, it was unity on a scale never seen before. "We've won the battle," Arya said aloud, her voice carrying the weight of 1,000 minds. But the war is far from over. The Zeroth Order was only one faction. There are others in the galaxy who will see humanity's rise as a threat or will view us as a challenge to their dominion. A voice rose from the crowd, a familiar one. General Vance, a strategic genius and former military officers, spoke. "I agree, Commander. The Zeroth Order was only the beginning. I've been reviewing intelligence reports from our allies. There's a new coalition forming races who have once bowed to the consortium, but are now considering their options. They see our victory as a sign that we could replace the consortium as the dominant power in the galaxy." "That's the problem," Arya replied, her eyes narrowing. "We never set out to conquer. We just wanted freedom. But in the process, we've made a lot of enemies. Our powers, the strength we now possess, are seen as a threat." The council fell silent. The ramifications of humanity's actions were only beginning to unfold, but Arya's mind had already been working through the implications. She had felt the presence of the universe shift. Humanity had tapped into something that had the potential to change everything. But the question remained, would the galaxy embrace them as equals, or would they be feared and hunted for the power they had unlocked? Far beyond Earth's borders, in the uncharted regions of the galaxy, a new alliance was quietly forming. The Ashar Collective, a race of psychic beings from the planet Volterra, had been monitoring humanity for years. Initially, they had watched in secret, intrigued by the humans' rapid evolution, but as the events with the Zeroth Order unfolded, the Ashar knew something had to be done. "We cannot allow this human race to grow unchecked," said Liral, the leader of the Ashar Collective. His form shimmered in the pale light of the Volterra moons, his mind a massive collective consciousness that could communicate with millions at once. "Their power, their potential, is beyond anything we have ever seen. The Zeroth Order was right to fear them." "But are we prepared for what comes next?" asked Rylock, a younger member of the collective. "Humanity's power is still growing. They are unpredictable. We cannot know for sure whether they will seek peace or dominance." Liral's mind flickered with tension. "We will make sure they understand their place. The Ashar have no tolerance for upstarts. We must strike before they amass too much power. If we leave them unchecked, they will become the dominant force in the galaxy, and we cannot let that happen." Back on Earth, Arya Hayes was having a private conversation with a new ally, a representative of one of the galaxy's most ancient race, the Eldrin, beings who had existed long before even the Consortium. The Eldrin had remained neutral in the war, preferring to observe and analyze, but now, they stood at the crossroads of history, and they had decided to lend humanity their support. The Eldrin representative, an ancient being with a crystalline body that shimmered with the light of distant stars, spoke in a voice that resonated deep within Arya's mind. "Commander Hayes, the rise of humanity is something we have watched with great interest. You are not like the other species in the galaxy. Your potential is far greater than anything we have witnessed." Arya nodded, but her thoughts were conflicted. "We never sought power. We only wanted freedom, but I'm beginning to see that we've been thrust into a role we never asked for. The galaxy is changing, and I'm not sure we can control it." The Eldrin's mind flickered with a gentle hum of understanding. "The galaxy is always changing, but your species, your minds are more capable of shaping the change than you realize. The Ashar Collective and other races will not sit idly by. They will either try to destroy you, or they will attempt to control you. But humanity, with its ability to adapt and unite, has the strength to rise above them all." Arya sighed. "I hope we are ready for what's coming. The worst part is, we can't just run away anymore. The universe is watching us. If we back down now, we'll never be free." The Eldrin's voice resonated again, this time with a quiet strength. "You are ready, and you will not face it alone. We will stand with you, and there are others who will. Do trust in your people, Commander. Their potential is limitless." Back in the galactic heart of the Consortium, High Admiral Voltrax, who had narrowly escaped defeat at the hands of humanity, was brooding in the shadows. His mind, once unshakable, had been fractured in his defeat. Humanity had proven more formidable than he had anticipated. Now, his fleet was scattered, but he had a new Bononi that would unite the most powerful factions of the galaxy against Earth. Voltrax, a deep voice echoed in his mind. It was a voice that had been absent for a long time, voice of the mysterious mastermind, the leader of the Ashar Collective. "It is time for the galaxy to decide. Either we bend humanity to our will, or we destroy them before they grow any stronger. The choice is yours." The High Admiral's eyes gleamed with the cold light of determination. "Prepare the fleet. We will strike at Earth, and this time, we will not fail." Back on Earth, Commander Arya Hayes felt the shift in the galaxy. Her mind stretched across the vast expanse of space, sensing the coming storm. The Ashar were moving, the Consortium was stirring, and the galaxy was no longer a place of peaceful observation. Humanity had become the fulcrum on which the future of the universe would pivot. The galaxy was on the edge of a precipice. After humanity's crushing victory over the Zeroth Order, the shifting dynamics of power had triggered an avalanche of responses. New alliances were forming in secret, while old powers were trying to regain their dominance. Humanity, once an insignificant species, had emerged as the great unknown and unpredictable force that had unlocked untapped potential, and now they were the galaxy's greatest challenge. Commander Arya Hayes, standing at the helm of humanity's grand fleet, knew that the coming conflict would be unlike any they had faced before. The Ashar Collective, the ancient race of psychic beings, had declared their intention to wipe out humanity or subjugate them. The High Admiral Voltrax of the Zeroth Order had recovered, and was rallying the consortium's most dangerous factions for another strike. The galaxy was preparing for war, and humanity was at the center of it all. As the human fleet gathered in the vastness of deep space, Oria's thoughts were clouded with the weight of what lay ahead. She could feel the stirrings of power within her mind, now fully awake, was reaching new heights. Her telepathic abilities had begun to extend beyond mere communication. She could feel the emotions, thoughts, and intentions of those around her. She could even sense the ripples of tension coming from the farthest reaches of the galaxy. "Commander Hayes," said General Vance, his voice sharp but steady, "the Ashar have initiated their movements. They've begun assembling their forces. Our intelligence suggests they plan to hit us hard, and they're not alone. They've already formed alliances with several rogue species from the old consortium. If we don't act quickly, we could be overwhelmed." Arya turned to face him, her eyes cold with determination. "We've faced threats before. This time, we need to show the galaxy that humanity cannot be intimidated. But we won't just be fighting for survival. We'll be fighting for our place in the stars. We'll fight for the freedom to decide our own future." Vance nodded, sensing her resolve. "We're ready, Commander. The fleet is at your command." Meanwhile, on the planet Volterra, the Ashar Collective was preparing for the inevitable confrontation. Lyral, the leader of the collective, stood among his fellow psychics, his crystalline body shimmering in the soft light of Volterra's twin suns. His mind was a maze of thoughts, calculating the best approach to dealing with humanity. Though his race had mastered the power of the mind, even he could not shake the growing sense of urgency. "The humans are not like the others," Lyral said, his voice reverberating in the minds of his council. "Their strength grows with every passing moment. The very nature of their potential is unlike anything we've ever encountered. We must eliminate them before they become an even greater threat." Rylock, a younger member of the collective, questioned, "Are we not underestimating them? I felt their power. They are not like the weak races we've controlled before. They are a threat, yes, but they may also be an opportunity. If we join with them, we could become greater." Lyral's thoughts were firm, colder than any of the others could have imagined. "No, we cannot afford to take that risk. The balance of power in the galaxy has been ours for millennia. We cannot allow a species that has unlocked only a fraction of its potential to overthrow us." His voice became a whisper in the minds of the others. "Prepare the fleet. We strike at Earth. We shall see if their potential is enough to withstand our might." Back on Earth, Commander Arya felt a shift of sudden, growing awareness that the galaxy was moving against them. The Ashar were coming, and with them, the might of an ancient empire. But humanity had something that the Ashar, the consortium, and the other races could not understand. A unity forged in the fire of conflict, a unity born of shared potential. Humanity had unlocked their brains. Yes, but it was their hearts and minds together that would make them truly unstoppable. As the human fleet moved toward the front lines, Arya stood before a vast projection map of the galaxy, her mind racing through strategies, possibilities, and the most likely outcomes of the upcoming battle. "I won't let humanity fall into the same trap as the others," she murmured to herself, then addressed her officers. "They fear us, and rightly so, but that fear is their weakness. We are not going to fight a battle of might. We are going to fight a battle of wills. The Ashar Collective thinks they can break us. Let's show them they're wrong." The day of the battle arrived faster than anyone could have anticipated. It began with a ripple, a sudden shift in space itself as the Ashar fleet moved into range. Their ships, vast and shimmering with psychic energy, were a sight to behold, but humanity was ready. Arya was in the lead ship, her mind connected to the entire human fleet. Every soldier, every pilot, and every ship's crew member was a part of the collective consciousness. The battle would not be fought by individual strength, but by the unity of the human race. Every thought, every movement was synchronized, an intricate web of minds working together to bring victory. As the first wave of Ashar ships engaged, the human fleet responded not with weapons, but with an overwhelming psychic force. The Ashar, masters of their own minds, were not prepared for the sheer force of will humanity was about to unleash. Arya's voice rang out in every human ship's mind. "Focus, together, we will break them." The battle that ensued was like nothing the galaxy had ever witnessed. The Ashar fleet, though powerful, found itself being overwhelmed by the sheer force of humanity's collective will. Every thought, Every wave of energy from the Ashar was met with an equally strong, synchronized defense. The human fleet bent the fabric of space, slipping past enemy ships and striking them from impossible angles. The Ashar ships, once thought indestructible, were shattered by this combined power. The battlefield became a storm of energy and will, with humanity at the center, unyielding and resolute. Li Rao's voice cracked through the psychic battlefield. How are they doing this? Aurea's mind pierced through the chaos. You thought you could control us. Now you will see what happens when we decide to fight back.